Hi, I'm Jo. I'm a physio. I'm also a Pilates instructor, and today we're going to go through a core routine that should take us about 15 minutes to complete. So follow along at home. For equipment, so I've brought a softball with me today, but you could also use a cushion, a yoga block, a rolled up towel. It doesn't really matter, or nothing at all. So starting off on our backs, lying down, and it's important that we get this position correct to begin with. So I was thinking about, first of all, that pelvic position, that we're not too arched in our lower back, but we're not completely squashed down onto the floor either. So what we want to do is just a couple of pelvic tilts, as far one way and as far the other way as possible, to find that kind of happy in between. The other thing I really want you to be focused on throughout this session is that rib cage position. So I don't want that rib cage popping up and really poking out. I want you to gently draw that rib cage down towards your pelvis. So almost like there's a spring from the bottom of your ribs to the top of your hips, and you're gently tensioning that spring. Once you're happy with that torso position and you feel like it's nice and controlled, I'm going to get you to lift one leg up into single tabletop and then bring the other one up to meet it. You'll find that your abdominal muscles work a little bit to get into that position, but it shouldn't be overbearing. From this position, what we're going to do is I'm going to keep my hands on my rib cage to make sure they don't flare up, because I've got a tendency to do so. We're going to keep your knee at 90 degrees, drop your heel down to the floor, pick it back up, and then we go to the other side. Down to the floor, pick it back up. As we're doing this from side to side, I almost want you to imagine that there's a pool of water underneath your heels, and you're trying to make the tiniest of ripples as that foot's coming down. So I don't want your foot to come down, have a rest, hear that clunk action, and then pick it back up. It's really softly, let the plane come down to land, and then pull it back up towards you. What our focus is that controlling your abdomen as that leg lowers down. So the weight of our leg wants to pull our pelvis around with it. So we need to use our core muscles to keep our pelvis nice and still. If you're noticing that you're feeling in your hip flexors, so the front of your thigh a little bit, then what you can do is pop your hands underneath your pelvis so it scoops your pelvis in just a little bit, and that should help you focus on your abdomen a little bit more on your core, and a little bit less on the hip flexors themselves. So we're going to work through a couple more of these. We've got 10 more to go. 10, 9. Going to breathe in as we lower, out as we come back up. That's 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Meet both legs at the top here. You're going to remain in double tabletop position, and then we're going to do a single leg reach. So again, if you need your hands in underneath to support for that last exercise, keep them there for the next one. If you didn't need them, by all means, keep them out, but it is an option to make it a little bit easier to control. Next one that we're going to do is reaching one leg out. So almost if you're trying to poke it towards where the wall meets the ceiling, and then bring that knee back into that double tabletop position. Reaching your leg out, straighten that knee, poke your toe, pull your leg back in. Reach out, poke your toe, pull back in. Again, our focus is less on the leg and it's more on what our stomach is doing. So keeping that rib cage gently drawn down in towards your stomach, and making sure our lower back isn't lifting up off that mat underneath. With this one, if you do want to make it a little bit more challenging, lower that leg down. So the lower the leg goes down, the harder the exercise becomes. Again, we want you to be feeling it more in your stomach than in your hip flexors. So if it's shifting more towards your hip flexors when you go lower, then maybe just pick up that height of those legs just a little bit. We're going to keep it nice and slow. So this focus is all about the control of this movement and making sure we're coordinating our stomach and our legs well together, rather than smashing through a lot of reps as we're going through it. A couple more, so we're going to do 10 more from here. 10, 9, same principle with the breathing. Breathe in as you reach, out as you come back. 5, 4, 3, scoop your tail just a little bit, 2, rib cage drawn in, and 1. Bring your knees into your chest, give them a small hug, but we're not quite finished here, so we've got one more exercise, and this is where we're going to bring that ball in. Bring the ball in, a little bit easier between our knees, a little bit harder between your ankles, up to you which one you want to do. I'm going to start with my knees today, but like I said before, yoga block, small cushion, rolled up towel, anything like that will work. I can't use my English today. We're going to do a gentle press in of both knees in towards our ball, so we're using our hip abductors to help us out with this exercise. Again, into that double tabletop position, and now we're going to do a double leg reach out and pull back in. So this one is quite a bit more challenging when we go both legs at the time, but same principles that we're working on. That rib cage is drawn down in towards our stomach. As our legs are out in that position, we're not letting that back arch up at all. We're making sure that there is that connection in through the front here and back in. Keep that gentle push in on that ball or cushion or yoga block, whatever it is that you found around your home, as we're reaching away and pulling back in. A little bit of shaking in this is good. It means that you're working hard. So again, same principles. If you want to make it harder, reach a little bit lower. If you want to make it easier, don't go all the way out or go a little bit higher with that reach. Let's do 5 more from here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last one. Ball out, knees into your chest, roll it out. Nice deep breaths. Let your hips drop out to the side. Stretch it out. And then we're going to come on to our hands and our knees. So prop yourself up, scoot around, and we're going to come on to hands and knees. When we're setting up into this position, what we're looking at is knees directly underneath our hips, wrists underneath our shoulders, and again, getting that back into the right position. So we might do a few cat-cows to begin with. So we're emphasizing that curl and emphasizing that arch, because what we want to find is that happy in between, that Goldilocks of our lower back. So once you've done a couple of cat-cows, try and find that smack bang in the middle position. So relatively flat through here, maybe a slight arch through there, and maybe a slight curve through our upper back. From this point, we're going to tuck our toes underneath, push up between our shoulder blades, tuck your chin just slightly, and we're going to do a tiny hover of our knees off the mat. So we're talking about 3 centimeters, that's all we want. The higher we go, the easier this exercise becomes. So making it a small movement makes it a lot more challenging. So holding that position for another 3, 2, 1, slowly come back down. Reset that position, so lift up through your shoulder blades, tuck your chin in, so long through the crown of your head. Make sure our back is in that neutral spine position. Push through your toes and your hands, hover your knees for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, slowly come back down. So again, imagining that pond of water underneath our knees this time, but you want to come down really softly. You don't want to splash into that water. You want to really lower down and control it. Let's go again, lifting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lower back down. 3 seconds off, and then we lift again. Let's go. 5, 4, make sure your knees are directly underneath your hips. Tuck your tail just slightly, push up through your shoulder blades, and then we lower back down. 3 seconds off. Big breath in as we prepare. Breathe out as you lift. This time we're focusing on just a gentle tuck of that rib cage in towards your stomach, long through the crown of your head. 2, 1, lower down. We're going to do 2 more of these. Prepare, breathe in, and we lift. Lifting up, nice and strong through your shoulders, rib cage gently drawn in, knees underneath your hips. 2, 1, lower down. Last one before we have a small break. Prepare, breathe in, and we're lifting for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and we lower back down. Knees nice and wide on that mat. Reach your hands forward. 1 breath into that child's pose, and then we're going to go straight back into the next exercise. So similar setup as we were before. Knees in underneath your hips. This time we're going to go hands at the top of the mat, so they're in front of your shoulders this time. Tuck your toes in underneath. We're going to start the same way, so we're going to do a small lift of your knees off the mat, so we're in that hover position. This time we're going to push forward into a plank, so squeeze your thighs, squeeze your bum cheeks, shoulders should be on top of your wrists. We're going to hold here for 3 seconds, 2, 1. Then we're going to go back to that hover position. So you're lowering yourself back so your hips are directly above your knees are hovering against that ground, and then we gently lower back down. So let's go through that again. Small hover of your knees, pushing forward into a plank. 3, 2, 1. Come back to our squat position, and then we lower back down. Let's go straight again. Hover, pushing forward. 3, 2, 1. We prop back, and then we lower. Up, pushing forward. Keep your back nice and flat the whole way through. We're coming back, and we're lowering back down. We've got 5 more of these to go. Up, forwards, nice strong squeeze through your legs, squeeze through your bum. Coming back, and lower. 4 to go. Up, pushing forwards, lift up through your shoulders in that hold. Coming back, and lower. 3 more. Up, forwards, hold that position. 2, 1, coming back, and down we go. Last one. Up, pushing forwards, nice and strong plank. Let's try and hold this one for 10 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, draw your rib cage in, squeeze your bum cheek. 3, 2, 1, back to your squat position. Pause and slowly lower down. Again, feet nice and wide into that child's pose. Reach your hands forward, down to the mat. Big breath into the bottom of your lungs. Let the ribs really expand out. And breathing back out. 2 more of those. Last one. And out. All right. Last exercise in this repertoire. Same position that we're going to start with, but we're bringing our prop back. Again, it's going to be between our knees. It's a very gentle squeeze of that ball between your knees, or that yoga block between your knees. This time, wrists are back in underneath our shoulders. Knees in underneath our hips. Let's find that neutral spine in our back. One more time. Happy with that. Nice gentle push up through our shoulders. Tuck your chin in, long through the crown of your head. Tucking our toes under. This time we are going to hover up that little bit higher. Once we're hovered, we're going to do a rotation. So gentle squeeze of that ball between your knees. Hover up about 5 to 10 centimeters off that mat. We're going to rotate our knees to one side, pause, control them back down to the center, and then we're going to rotate the other way. Back down to the center, and continue rotating. So always thinking about, not that I've ever done this, if you've got a cigarette butt on the floor and you're squashing it out with your toes, I imagine that this is the action that you're doing with your feet right now. Nice and slow, keep it smooth. So everything about today's session has been keep it slow, keep it controlled as you're working through it. If you do find you need to prop down back onto your knees for a mini rest, by all means do so. Stay nice and strong through your shoulders and get that nice twist action from that lead leg as you're pushing up towards the sky and controlling it back down. And you'll notice that I need to keep creeping my toes back in towards my hands just a little bit because I'm drifting away as I'm twisting. 2 more each way, up to the ceiling. Well, that was a big crack in the ankle just then. One more each way, big twist, stay strong in your shoulders. Center, control that lower, take that ball out, back onto your knees, reaching up towards the ceiling, open out through that stomach. A couple of nice deep breaths in. Float those arms down. Well done, thank you for joining me today. See you next time.